Hello everyone, my name is Mary Cameron Vivio and I'm going to be talking about the nested function index match. My teammate Devin posted a video explaining the SUMIFS function and we assumed that y'all knew how to do the index match. So now I'm posting a video explaining that function just in case y'all don't understand it because it is a very confusing function to learn and understand. For this, I used a very simple example to explain this function because of its confusing nature. You will see that there are only 5 salespeople, and you'll see on the sales tab that there are a total of 10 transactions. So to get started, it is super important to name your ranges. And to do this, you highlight the entries, excluding the field, which in this example you can see right here, it is bolded salesperson ID and salesperson name. Then in the top left box above columns A and B, you will type in the name of the range right here. So as you can see, under the salesperson tab and the column field that says salesperson ID, I named the range salesperson, salesperson ID. As you can see, there are no spaces. And then I did the exact same thing for salesperson name. So it's salesperson, salesperson name. Just like in the salesperson tab, these ranges are named by the tab product and then the bolded field name. So you have product, product ID, product, product name, product price, and so on. So you'd have product commission rate and product CGS rate. Lastly, I went ahead and I named the ranges under the sales tab as well. This makes doing the SUMIFS function that my teammate Devin showed you much easier. Therefore, for this tab, you have ranges called sales transaction number, which number is written out. I didn't put the number sign. You have sales, salesperson ID, sales method, sales product, sales unit, and etc., etc. Now that the ranges have been named, it's time to actually perform the index match function. But some of you are probably wondering, what is this function? What does it do? So this function is a combination of two different functions, index and match. The index function returns the value of the cell, and the match returns the position of the cell, which will make more sense once we actually do the example. So together, these two functions create a nested function, which means that one function is inside of the other function. In this case, match is inside and index is on the outside of this function. And when these two functions are combined, Excel can look up and return the value of a cell, which you'll see in a second. And for this example and for the shortness of time, we'll be using the index match function for price and for salesperson name under the sales tab, as you can see highlighted here in gray, also with the arrows pointing to them. So to start, we're going to do price first, and we're going to begin with the match function. Just as a tip, I always recommend starting with the inside function match, then working your way outwards to the outside function index. So the match function answers the questions, what value am I looking for and where should it be found? What are we looking for? To answer that question, it's the lookup value. As you can see, it's bolded in the formula box right here, and circled is right here. What's circled is what we're looking for. So for this example, we're trying to find the product mobility. So we put D2 in as the lookup value. And as a cheat code for this function, we have our $ in front of the D in D2. This tells Excel that the column is absolute or is constant and the row changes in our function's formula. And you will see in a minute why that's extremely important in this function. Next, we want to determine where should this value be found. Well, we know that mobility is a product, right? Therefore, we want to look for the product name, which is going to be found under the product tab. So we'll put product name, which is the name of the range that we did earlier. And then this 0 right here represents that we want to find an exact value. Then we hit enter, and you will notice that Excel inserts a 3 into the cell. You can see that right here, it's circled. Be careful because you aren't done with the formula just yet. The 3 is a result of the match function only, meaning to get the correct entry, we need to complete the index function as well. So, to complete the index function, which we put to the left of match, we will type index, which you can see is done right here. Then we choose what we are looking for. For this column, which is labeled price, you can't see it because it is covered by the formula. We know we are looking for product price. So we type in our range that we named, product price, and then we put in a comma. And that means that the row number and all of the information that the index function needs to determine our value is going to be found in this match function. So then at the end, make sure you do put an extra parentheses to the far right to close the formula. And then that tells Excel, look for the name mobility and product price to give us the price of this product. So that means we don't have to flip back and forth between the multiple tabs in our Excel book. So then once you hit enter, you should see a value appear in the cell which shows $25. Mine I've already changed, so the 25 is considered currency instead of just a general number. That's why it already has the $sign in the cell. And then the yellow highlighted values over here on the right are from the product sheet, which allows us to check that mobility does in fact cost $25. So now you have to do that exact same formula for all 10 transactions. Have fun! Just kidding. Excel wants you to work smarter, not harder. So instead of retyping the formula 9 more times, click the box to the right of the bottom right corner of this cell and drag it all the way down to finish to your transaction 10. This is going to tell Excel that you want the exact same formula to be done for all of the transactions. This is also where our good friend the $sign comes in. Because you made the column absolute, you can go to each cell in the price column and see that the column is still the same, but the row changes, and that's how we get our correct values. So then if you look down at the bottom, you can see once we drag the box down, Excel inserts all of the values that we are looking for. So you can look at that and you can compare it to the numbers in the yellow highlighted values, which means if we can look, we have transaction 2, it says pots. So if we go to the highlighted values, we can see that pots costs $35. And in our values using our index match function, it says $35. And if you look at all of them, all of the numbers match, which means now you can do a happy dance because you just completed your very first index match function. But wait, there's more. Now we get to calculate the total sales for each transaction. Total sales is equal to the number of units multiplied by the price per unit, which we just determined using our index match function. Also note that total sales is before cost of goods sold and commissions are deducted from the value. For time's sake, this will not be determined in this video, but if needed, I will make another video to calculate those values as well, so you can see the profit made from each transaction. Now, to calculate total sales, we simply type the equal sign, then select the unit value, which in this case is 50, times the price value, $25, then hit enter. And just like the price column, we can click the box in the right bottom corner of the cell and drag it down to determine all of our total sales values. So once we do that, we get the total sales gained from each transaction made by the company. So as you can see, all of them done. $12.50 for the first one, you have $560 from a broadband transaction, and then wow, someone made a transaction worth $15,000. I wonder who that salesperson is. Well, we're about to find out using our new best friend, the index match function. For this column, we will still begin with the match function first. However, we are finding a different value this time. So we'll start with the equal sign, match. Then we choose our value in salesperson ID, which is $B2, our good friend the dollar sign's back, because that's the thing that is closely related to salesperson. So then where do you find the salesperson ID? Well, if we go back to our bottom tabs, we click on and we see the salesperson tab. Under that, we named one of the ranges salesperson, salesperson ID, and salesperson, salesperson name. So B2, which is salesperson ID. So where should Excel go to find that? Salesperson, salesperson ID. So that is what we will type in next to B2. And then we always want to put the 0 because we're trying to find an exact value. When you hit enter, you will see that a 1 appears. Don't panic. Obviously, this isn't a salesperson's name, which means we have to now do our index function to determine the salesperson's name. And just like for price, we will type index to the left of the match function. Because we are looking for a salesperson's name, we type salesperson, salesperson name, which is the name of our range, for the array reference, because that is where Excel is going to pull the actual salesperson's name. Don't forget to add your second parentheses to the end of the function before you hit enter, but if you do forget, Excel should add it for you and still complete the function. Then you'll see that a name appears after you click enter. And in this case, we see Scott Inks in the salesperson name cell for H2 for the first transaction. Now, just like what we've been doing, you'll click on the bottom right box of the cell right here, this one right here, and drag it all the way down to determine the names for each completed transaction. And ta-da! All the names have been filled in for all 10 transactions. Now we can look at our highlighted yellow values over here to determine if they are correct, which they are. This also means that you have just learned how to complete not one, but 2 index match functions and can go do a victory lap or just another happy dance. All right, so that is it for our index match Excel tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to leave them in the comments below. And also remember to go watch my teammates' video on some ifs. Till next time, I'm Mary Cameron, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on the index match function.